Fallout 76 is known to have a really good community, which is something that is very hard nowadays. But what if I told you that there was a more darker side to the 76 community? Today, I will not be talking about the usual plagues that infest online multiplayer communities. I will not be talking about cheaters, DDoSers, or boosters. Today, I'll be talking about scammers. Fallout 76 has a really bad scamming community. These scammers are not like ordinary scammers. They don't go after your money or your personal information. Instead, they go after your in-game items. The way they get you is that they go after your in-game weapons that might be very rare or might be very valuable to you, but if you want something that they have, well, they don't care. They take what you have and they leave instantly. They do this by taking advantage of the really bad trading system within the game. Myself, however, has never been in one of those situations where I've gotten scammed from one of these people, which is why later on in the video I have one of the Fallout 76 players that has actually been in one of those situations, and I ask him questions about his experience. But before I get into that section of the video, here are some advices to tell if someone's a scammer and how to not get scammed by them. For tip number one, I'll start off with the most important one, being stay away from the LFG post on Xbox, PS4, Steam, whatever you play on. Stay away from the LFG post on the console that you play on. Those are just full of scammers waiting to take your stuff. More importantly, if you do want to find someone online to trade with, there are third-party websites that you can find people to trade with, being Reddit, Facebook, you name it. Go ahead and find those with verified vendors first instead of going for LFG posts. My second tip is to always trade first. Trading first is a really big turnoff for scammers, as they would rather go first instead, take what you have, and then just leave. But if you trade first every single time, no matter what, then you're never going to get scammed out of trading. If you trade first, there's absolutely no risk for losing your loot. And then if the person that you're trading with thinks that you're a scammer because you want to trade first and they end up not even cooperating with you, that's their loss then. For my third and final tip, you just always have to trust your gut. A lot of these people on here are very sneaky, and since you're not face to face with them, it's really hard to sometimes tell what their true intentions are. So you really need to pay attention to how the way they're talking, how the way they react. You really have to trust your gut and your instincts while dealing with these people. If someone's seeming a little sus or a little bit off, just don't even bother with them, because more than likely they're a scammer. They're gonna rip you off, so don't even bother with them. There's a bunch of other people that are very willing to trade with you online, so go ahead and just find someone else to trade with. And I'm sure a bunch of us will have that thought in the back of our mind of, is this person actually legit? But just ask yourself this question: is my loot worth risking to lose for this guy to just rip me off? If the answer is no, just find another vendor from the site that you're using and just use that. Those are just a few tips that I've gathered without actually being in contact with one of these scammers or getting scammed myself, since it's never really happened to me. Just use those common sense tips and you'll be fine. But since I'm not really too familiar with these scammers and I've never had any experience myself, I went ahead and asked one of the Fallout 76 players to see what their experiences were like when they got scammed. What did they learn from it, and what kind of advice would they give other players looking forward to actually trading with people, maybe online or maybe within the Xbox community itself. And if you want to be in one of these videos where I ask you questions about Fallout 76, all you have to do is just subscribe and comment down below your Xbox gamer tag, and I will message you on Xbox. But most importantly, you have to be subscribed. But without any more delay, let's get into the interview. So when was the last time that you got scammed while trading, and tell me how that sort of experience went?
My first trade, actually, I was doing because of a glitch. I got this really good power armor, and I was starting to trade it for a good shotgun, because at the time I was super heavy shotgun build. And then it was this guy named King Water, and he seemed so nice and cheerful, and he seemed like such a good dude. But I had the sneaking suspicion in the back of my head that he was gonna scam me. But I just kind of went along, and then got completely scammed, lost all the stuff, just sat there quietly for the rest of my playtime.
I know you say you don't trade off of Xbox anymore because of how bad it is, but would you say that like majority of the people that do LFGs on Xbox are like actual like scammers?
Yeah, there's a large portion of it for sure. Like if you look at LFGs, like there'll be the posts that are just have the bulk list of people that have scammed someone recently saying these are all scammers. So it's got to be such a high portion that actually are scams.
Like how bad is this, or how big is this community?
Honestly, I can't give you an exact size being not a scammer or anything, but based on the fact that there's all these different scammer lists and everything, I'd say it's got to be pretty big. And it seems like it's pretty well organized as well.
Where can you find like actual couriers that will not like rip you off basically? Where how can you get in contact with them if you do ever want to trade?
So the thing is, a lot of people on Xbox who even say like, "Ooh, I'm a verified courier," actually aren't and are just there to go along with the scam and take both of your stuff. So you kind of have to go on those external platforms, so like the big Facebook group or the big Reddit group, or there's other ones that have actual proper representation of trade experience so that you can actually know who the actual couriers are.
Okay, I got you. And for these like Facebook groups and all that stuff, are they pretty good at keeping out the scammers? Like if they find out if one of the members is like one of them scumbag scammers, will they like kick them out from the group, ban them? Do they do anything like that?
Yeah, so if there's a guy who's scamming on the list, automatically they'll get put on like the blacklist and everything. But then also you'd get banned from either the subreddit or the group or whatever and be warned about trading and stuff with said person.
So for new people like myself, what kind of like advice would you give me so that I don't get scammed?
Okay. First of all, unless you're trading for something really, really good, go with caps because you can't really scam someone for caps. If they're paying for it, then they've got to pay for it. But otherwise, like if it's something you're trading like an item for an item, go on those groups, find a registered courier, find someone that has good reputation with trading and actually set up a proper deal instead of this impromptu looking for group thing.
Now, firstly, I do want to say thank you to Toaster Taco that did end up making it into the video. Thank you for taking your time to actually answer these questions for me, and I want to say thank you to everyone else that did want to partake in this video and answer my questions, but ultimately didn't end up making it. I do want to say thank you to guys. Now, I do hope you guys found this video to be very informational. I know it was for me because before I even met these guys, I didn't know anything about scamming, trading, or anything like that. But now that I do know, and now that my eyes are opened, I'll be a lot more wary if I ever do want to go ahead and trade with other people online once I get out of level 70 and actually get some really good gear. But for those people who are very high level and want to grind for really good gear, just be very cautious when you're trading with these people and only trade with these third-party sites with verified vendors and couriers. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you do want to be in one of these kinds of videos where I ask people questions, all you have to do is to subscribe, comment down below your Xbox gamer tag, and I'll hit you up. But other than that, peace.